Welcome to the Primetime News on MITV. I am Jumoke Michaels. The headlines. President Tinubu urges Islamic scholars to foster national unity and social integration. Federal government to close Murtala Mohammed Airport from October 1 for maintenance work. From the foreign scene, over 70 dead as fire razes Johannesburg apartment block in South Africa. And in sports, UEFA Champions League draw pairs PSG AC Milan in group of death. Welcome again. President Bola Tinubu has met with members of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs behind closed doors at the residential villa, Abuja. Members of the NSCIA were led to the meeting by the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sahad Abubakar. Speaking to State House correspondents, Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, disclosed issues discussed at the meeting, said that President Tinubu urged the Islamic scholars to be at the forefront of fostering national unity and societal integration.
Well, the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs decided it fit to pay a solidarity visit to Mr. President. They came to offer him some advice on the happenings in the country. They've also solicited for his cooperation and to ensure that the unity of Nigeria continues to be maintained.
The Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, under the leadership of His Eminence the Sultan of Sokoto and the President General, is here to pay a courtesy call on Mr. President, to appreciate him for what he's doing for the nation, and to also advise him as to what the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs feels should be done to make sure that it continues to rule with transparency, with honesty, with equity, to the benefit of all members of this great country of ours.
Meanwhile, the senator representing Zamfara West, Abdulaziz Yari, has said some parts of Zamfara State recorded progress recently in the fight against insecurity due to the intervention by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu through the Office of the National Security Advisor. Senator Yari, who was on his first official visit to President Tinubu since he assumed office at the State House, Abuja, added that President Tinubu is working closely with the security chiefs to further address the security challenges in the Northwest and across the country. He added that there's no close relationship between mining and insecurity in Zamfara State, alleging that castle rustling and miners are mostly responsible for the crisis. Yari, while pleading his support for the current administration, advised the government to continue the good reforms and programs it has started, citing the removal of the petrol subsidy as a step in the right direction. The Zamfara West senator also congratulated the Nigerian leader on his victory in the 2023 general elections, while wishing the administration well.
I want to look at it and study carefully the relationship between the mining and the insecurity. This insecurity are either cattle rustling or human abduction. So if you look at it, and then you say mining, so what is it? So why we are saying the relationship between the insecurity and the mining are not together? For one reason, the local will be attacked almost on daily basis, while people are doing the mining are being free, so no any wahala. So they start to put two together and said, okay, either those that are doing the mining are supporting the bandit or they are giving their whatever support it is in any way.
Staying with security matters, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, has disclosed that the Nigerian Army is ready to work with critical partners, especially the United Nations Counter-Terrorism Unit. General Lagbaja made the disclosure while receiving the delegates from United Nations Office for Counter-Terrorism at the Army headquarters in Abuja Thursday. He acknowledged the role of the United Nations in counter-terrorism efforts and welcomed the experience of the UN in this area. Correspondent Marian Enakemo reports that the Army Chief said the Nigerian Army cares about the communities in which it operates by supporting them in areas of education and health, as well as other non-kinetic measures in collaboration with organizations and relevant agencies. The Under-Secretary General of the United Nations Office for Counterterrorism, Vladimir Voronkov, commended Nigeria's efforts in counterterrorism in the Northeast and expressed readiness to partner with Nigeria in tackling the global monster known as terrorism.
We are engaged in banditry, anti-banditry activities in the Northwest, and we know that these bandits employ some tactics of the terrorist group, like the use of improvised explosive devices to instill fear in law-abiding citizens. So we are poised and we are ready to continue to cooperate with critical partners, especially the United Nations Office for Counterterrorism. The idea of the United Nations Office for Counterterrorism serving to disseminate our experience is welcome, and we also believe that we need to share from the experience of other countries.
The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace, Mr. Festus Keyamo, has directed all international airlines to vacate the Murtala Mohammed International Airport from October 1, 2023. The minister said this during a tour of the international airport in Lagos, where he was accompanied by the Managing Director, Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Mr. Kabir Yusuf Mohammed. Keyamo said this was to give room for total maintenance work at the airport. He frowned at the absence of adverts across some strategic positions in the airport, stating that these are untapped government funds running down the drain. He stated that the President, Bola Tinubu, has allotted them on need to generate more revenue for the government. To other news. The urgent need to start exposing African youth to numerous challenges that may face the continent in the future and begin solutions through blockchain has been re-echoed at a seminar in Lagos on shaping Africa's digital future with blockchain. Speakers maintained that the next generation must be exposed to technological advancement, which would redirect their minds to the solutions required for different issues. They stated that the government needs to create the enabling environment where things will work towards achieving a better society. The seminar tagged the Lagos business youth with Ediale Kingsley. It was admitted that the youth in Africa should have access to finances in order to make progress in their chosen careers.
I believe that blockchain has a very, very important role to play in the technology divination of the future. And for us as Africans, our number in this space is still very small. So what we set out our Web3 Bridge to do is to train blockchain developers in Nigeria and Africa who understand the problems of the continent and can use technology to grow and bring solutions to these problems. So we believe that the numbers are still small, and we want to drive adoption, we want to bring more people to the space. And so we have this issue of unemployment, underemployment, and all of those stuff. And I believe that the blockchain space have a lot of people to be recruited. Blockchain space has opportunity to recruit a lot of young persons who are smart, can still learn, and there's a call for them to come into the space.
There's a lot of collaboration that the government needs to do with people in the Web3 space. I think that there's obviously, like I said, there's a lot of complexity, so there's a lot of learning that needs to happen. Obviously, that learning is coming from our end. We need to be able to, get the government to understand what the opportunities that exist in that space are. And I think, I'm really hopeful that with this new administration, there will be more areas for collaboration and to really see what's possible, just in terms of how we're able to create create innovation, create more jobs just through the blockchain and Web3 space.
We are calling them, invest in young people. Let them get the skill so they can be able to actually produce. You don't need to give them a job. Once they have the skill, this young man actually built a company. Emmanuel built a company. From school, he built a company that was going to solve African problem. If he didn't have the skill, could he have built a company? No, he's working with these people because he's creating value.
A civil society group has condemned the rejection by the Lagos State House of Assembly of 17 out of 39 commissioner and special advisor nominees sent by the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, describing such as an act of politicization of the state. The president of the Center for Human and Socio-Economic Rights, Alex Omotenshi, gave the condemnation at a press conference in Lagos. He said politicization of appointment into the state cabinet may have disrupting fatal consequences, as those rejected had made reputable landmarks in the previous administration of the state. He further added that it was inappropriate for the State House of Assembly to play politics with the screening and confirmation by rejecting nominees without considering their past achievements in the previous administration.
The recent rejection by the Lagos State House of Assembly of 17 out of 39 persons on the list of commissioners and special advisors forwarded by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to the Assembly should be a great cause of concern to all well-meaning Lagosians. We strongly want the Lagos State House of Assembly to be wary of throwing away the baby with the bathwater. It is most disheartening that these commissioner nominees were reported to have been rejected on mere voice votes without the Assembly putting forward logical rationale that they were rejected for lack of merit.
All the questions kept on echoing the name of Professor Abayomi because we know what he did. Talk about the education commissioner. She also did her best, and at the level of the information on Motosho, it was upright. But it's not only those people that you are trying to, the rest 14 that have been rejected. We don't even know why they are rejecting them, because the Lagosians need to know. When they are screening ministers at the federal level, it was air on live. But the motive behind screening commissioners in Lagos State at the level of committee level is unacceptable.
For many that are wallowing in abject poverty, a non-governmental organization has appealed to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration to take a drastic economic action that will have direct impact on all and sundry. Recall that after the first pronouncement on the 29th May that the subsidy on petroleum motor spirit (PMS), popularly referred to as petrol, has been removed, the price of fuel had skyrocketed. Against this background, the NGO commenced its palliatives by subsidizing the fuel being bought by commercial vehicles and private individuals to cushion the impact of the subsidy removal. They, however, called on government not to relent on finding a lasting solution to the increase in the price of fuel.
This one too is heavy, and we are very happy for what we've seen today. And the prayer to the state government, prayer to Asoanju, prayer to everybody that is here helping to deliver the fuel. We are so happy, and it is God's really working in a perfect way.
Well, the mechanism are going to use, I don't know how to go to the less privilege. I don't know how to go to the less privilege. There are people who are not here who cannot have vehicle to transport to go to their vehicle to buy. So they have done their best, but let them do more. Let them do more. That's what I want. Let them do more.
They should come into it. What they are doing is good because everything have been wrong for long. So, as time goes on, I know everything is going to come in place. And the impact will go a little because, it's high already. So it's going to go a little. So then I'm going to add the one I wanted to buy now to join to it so that, it can make me to work more than how I work.
The family of late Pataiwo Akikumi has called on the federal government to immortalize the designer of the Nigerian national flag in recognition of his contribution to the history of the country. Speaking on behalf of the family, Akinremi Akikumi described his late father as a complete patriot who contributed his quota to the Nigerian narrative. His father said that despite the rude shock of his father's demise, the family takes consolation in his contribution while he was alive. Mr. Akikumi died at the age of 87 in the early hours of Tuesday after a brief illness. He attributed with the design of the Nigerian flag, which was officially raised on Independence Day, 1st October 1960, signifying the pulling down of the British flag in Nigeria. Mr. Akikumi was rewarded with £100 by the government when his design was selected. He was subsequently honored as a member of the Order of the Niger, MON, by former President Goodluck Jonathan.
Caring and loving. If I should take this medium to say about my father, I'm sure I will take much of our time. But he's someone that is very, very accommodative, very, very friendly. Some of his tenants they've been together since 1976. Some of them are here. So he's somebody that, the space, the vacuum, I pray to God Almighty to fill it for us.
It's a great shock because it's what we don't expect at all that would just come in. We just came in suddenly like that. Because yesterday, we still sat down, eat together, do everything together. So just suddenly, around that 2 p.m., I just saw that the way he was bleeding is not that okay. Immediately, and I took him to hospital. So unfortunately, getting there, the doctor checked him. They tried their best, but at the end, we lost him.
Papa Taiwo Akikumi has left a very fine legacy to Nigeria as a whole, because he was the person who designed our Nigerian flag when we want to have our independence in 1960. He will fondly be remembered.
The chairman of Ijebu East local government area of Ogun State, Wale Adedayo, has been suspended for 3 months after accusing Governor Dapo Abiodun of funds diversion. The chairman was suspended by a quorum of councillors in the local government on allegations of maladministration and financial mismanagement. The invasion of the local government area secretariat by over 100 mobile policemen on Thursday morning followed an alleged move by the Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, to impeach Adedayo, who recently accused the governor of withholding federal government allocations meant for local government areas within the state. You're still watching the Primetime News on MITV. We'll take a break to bring you stories from the foreign scene. Please stay with us.
Up next, ladies and gentlemen, Chisholm.
Hey, my body don't retire. No, it's not the same as if my legacy will not die. Toast to the life, living every moment to the full. I'll be overloading your back. All this life I get, I want to be celebrated. Tell me what you need from me now. I know what you need from me now. Stand from heaven to you, baby. I can go the distance.
Sunday on Nigerian Idol. Proudly sponsored by Techno and Biggie for every moment.
Welcome back. More than 70 people have died and more than 50 have been injured after a fire at a multi-story building in downtown Johannesburg, South Africa, while the injured are receiving treatment at various healthcare facilities. The building has been described as a hijacked building, meaning it's used by squatters, while authorities said it's unclear what sparked the blaze at the 5-story building. Emergency services said the fire gutted the building in the city center at around 1:30. Authorities say firefighters evacuated the building's occupants on arrival, and the search and recovery of bodies continues.
That dealt specifically with displaced women. However, due to unforeseen circumstances, the building ended up serving a different purpose. So we are here with Human Settlement, EMS, in the form of the MMC of Public Safety to respond.
So, Mr. Mayor, are you confirming that this building was hijacked?
Wait. Order, please. So before you start with the questions, I will give to the MEC to speak to the issue of settlement.
Russia destroyed a drone approaching Moscow, its capital, on Thursday, a day after Russia came under the largest drone assault on its territory since it launched its war on Ukraine. In the southwestern Bryansk region bordering Ukraine, Russian authorities claimed they thwarted a Ukrainian sabotage operation, killing 2 of the alleged saboteurs and detaining 5 others. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces said they were making gradual progress in their counteroffensive against Russian defense lines in southeastern regions of the country. In the meantime, the White House has warned North Korea against selling munitions to Russia for its war in Ukraine as tensions between Pyongyang and Washington continue to mount. White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby said that the United States is concerned about potential arms deal between Russia and North Korea. Referring to North Korea by its official name, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, Kirby said the U.S. urged the DPRK to cease its arms negotiations with Russia and abide by the public commitments that Pyongyang had made to not provide or sell arms to Russia.
Ukraine. We want all nations to support Ukraine to the best that they can. And we don't want any nation to help Russia kill more Ukrainians. But it's a sovereign decision, each nation. These are sovereign decisions, and we want every nation to act in accordance with what they believe they can handle from their own national security perspective. The South Koreans have already been very helpful. They've been attending these Ukraine conduct defense groups, and we appreciate that, and we're very grateful for that.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty to election interference charges in the U.S. state of Georgia, a court filing showed, as the former United States president waived a formal arraignment hearing. Thursday's court filing, which was signed by Trump, reads, and I quote, "As evidenced by my signature below, I do hereby waive formal arraignment and enter my plea of not guilty to the indictment in this case," end of quote. The former president faces 13 criminal charges in Georgia, where prosecutors have accused him and 18 associates of joining a conspiracy to unlawfully change the outcome of the 2020 U.S. presidential election in the state. We'll take another break to bring you sport news. Thanks for still being there. Paris Saint-Germain will kick off their quest for a maiden Champions League trophy in a strong Group F featuring Borussia Dortmund, AC Milan and Newcastle United following the draw on Thursday. Holders Manchester City will take on RB Leipzig, Red Star Belgrade, and Young Boys in Group G. Record 14 times winners Real Madrid will play Serie A champions Napoli, Braga, and Union Berlin in Group C. German heavyweights Bayern Munich take on Manchester United, FC Copenhagen, and Galatasaray in Group A. Last season's runners-up Inter Milan meet Benfica, RB Salzburg, and Real Sociedad in Group D, while Europa League winners Sevilla and Arsenal were drawn together in Group B, along with PSV Eindhoven and RC Lens. Barcelona take on Porto, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Royal Antwerp in Group H, and Group E is made up of Feyenoord, Atletico Madrid, Lazio, and Celtic. The Champions League group stage will begin on September 19 and conclude on December 13. The knockout stages begin in February, with the final taking place at London's Wembley Stadium in June. Meanwhile, Manchester City's Erling Haaland on Thursday won the UEFA Men's and Women's Player of the Year prizes, respectively, at a ceremony in Monaco. Edged teammate Kevin De Bruyne and Inter Miami star Lionel Messi were the award. The Norway striker scored 52 goals in 53 games to help City win the treble of Champions League, Premier League, and FA Cup, while Bonmati helped Barcelona win the Women's Champions League and then inspired Spain to World Cup glory earlier this month. And that's the end of the primetime news on MITV. We'll take a recap of the top stories. We told you that President Tinubu has urged Islamic scholars to foster national unity and social integration. We also said that the federal government is to close the Muritala Muhammad Airport from October 1 for maintenance work. From the foreign scene, we said over 70 are dead as a fire razed Johannesburg apartment block in South Africa. And in sports, the UEFA Champions League draw had paired PSG and AC Milan in Group of Death. Thanks for watching. I am Jumoke Michaels. Good night.